The Iranians who took the embassy, for the most part, were well-meaning but very, very naive. I would divide the group into sort of three age brackets. Those in their late 20s and early 30s were college graduates or should have been college graduates. My chief interrogator, an individual that I spent 100 or so very delightful hours with, sometimes 12 hours at a time through the middle of the night, in less than comfortable circumstances, actually had gone to the University of California at Berkeley for a few years. And I am a product of the University of California system, only Irvine, where we were so close to the beach that nobody was radicalized except when surf was up. But I do understand Berkeley, and I thought it was very appropriate that this guy had gone to Berkeley, although he was radicalized in a different direction. And they were responsible, I think, for what passed for leadership. The whole country was really in chaos. Khomeini had more or less taken over, and there were a lot of struggles going on. Nobody seemed to be in charge. And that's what the CIA was actually there. There were three of us operations officers. I had only been in the agency for 9 months when I got off the plane in Tehran, and the airport was anarchy writ large. And I was wondering, you know, what in the world had I gotten myself into? That feeling never passed in the 53 days I was there before they took the embassy. The whole point that we were there was that the Carter administration, and indeed the Western world, had no idea what was going on in Iran because the Iranians didn't, and things changed hourly. Nobody really knew who was in charge, who was influencing Khomeini. It seemed to be the last person that talked to him, even if it was a lady who swept the floors. And there was a tremendous need in Washington to find out what the new policies were going to be. And we were, most of the station assets had fled, as they should have. After the February 14th, as you recall, the embassy was also attacked then by a group of militants, mostly thugs. We call it the February 14th Valentine's Day open house. They were in the embassy for about 3 hours, which affected the thinking in Washington in our situation. So we were really trying to find anybody who had any access to power, who could tell us what was going on and who might be willing to cooperate with the great Satan. It was very slim pickings. I was assigned undercover as the embassy political military affairs officer and was overtly working with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Defense because of the billions and billions of dollars of military equipment that had been sold to Iran. The Iranians had paid for it. And then in the middle of the revolution, the Carter administration embargoed all of that. So the Iranians wanted their money back, or the equipment. They weren't going to get the equipment, and the money was a real sticking problem. And you may recall just a few months ago, they actually got the money after all these years. So that was one of my jobs. And then at night, when I should have been sleeping or doing other things productive, I was out on the streets doing spy stuff rather unproductively most of the time.